£109 later to fill the car up. That was depressing. But I'm heading over to the Fells, and I'm a little bit late. I came out yesterday and I'm a little bit later tonight because I thought yesterday was too early. There wasn't really a lot happening, so I ended up sitting around for like at least an hour and a half. So yeah, I've come the long way. I'm going to go check out the lawnmower, which hasn't been as productive this year. To be honest, no, as productive, I don't think. There's obviously a lack of water. It's hot now, so there's insects now, but there wasn't a week ago. So early hatches in terms of lapwings, some of them are down to one chick already, which is quite depressing. But I did see some chicks yesterday and they seem to have doubled in size, so they're obviously getting enough food at the moment. And yeah, everything's just slow. Like the curlews aren't sitting. There's some sitting, but not a lot. The oyster catchers, again, there's a few sitting, but there's still like flocks of them flying around. So they're not even just like out in their pairs yet, some of them, which is very strange. But I've made the mistake. Well, I had to come through Barnard Castle because I had to get fuel, but it's always heaving on a sunny day in Barnard Castle, so it takes forever to get through. So yeah, and then I spent half of last night looking for a snipe, which ruined my day a little bit, just because it was sat on the wall in beautiful light, like golden light, and I pulled up next to it and my camera didn't focus and it flew away. So that really ruined my night and put me in a bad mood. So I went home after that because it was kind of the last of the light anyway, but I was pretty annoyed. So one idea I had from last week's Why Merlins Matter events that we had was actually just to do a video on one field to kind of show what can live in one field in the springtime in the uplands. So this is a field that, it's actually Kevin's field. Kevin is the black grouse that I named him last year. Kevin originated from a black grouse on the other part of the fell who lecked by himself. He usually lecked to pheasants, and so I called him Kevin because he was always alone, and he wasn't there this year. And so I drove around to a different field and here's a black grouse lecking alone, so he got the name Kevin by default, and he lecks in this field. But to be fair to Kevin, he's not stupid. He had 2 grey hens here last time, so he's not a stupid bird. But I'm currently sat watching a lapwing that has just started sitting on eggs right in front of me, and in this one field there are probably 8 lapwing. Kevin, his grey hens, I drove past a grey hen on the way up, pheasants, wild pheasants, they're all wild in this little valley, curlews, there's snipe that sit on the wall up at this end, oyster catchers, red shank. So that's one field in an upland farm, which I think is pretty impressive. I'm gonna actually go and see this lapwing and see how many eggs she has, just to check her nest, and then I can report it back to the nest finders that are doing the counts this year on this bit of ground, because she has only just started sitting. So if she only has 3 eggs, then by the time she's got the 4th, you can kind of tell when her due date is going to be. So she's just got off by herself. I haven't disturbed her, so I'm going to quickly nip out, count the eggs, and then come back, and then she can go back to her nest. So she only has 1 egg so far. So as I was walking out there's currently an oyster catcher that's having an argument with a sheep, which I missed. They pecked the lamb on the nose, so the lamb ran away. But I could hear this pipping. I couldn't work out what it was because it sounded a bit different, and it's obviously that oyster catcher having a tantrum with the sheep, so they must have a nest as well. It's too early for them to have young yet. But I'm gonna drive away now, leave this lapwing nest so that she can come back to it. As you can see, that is the other oyster catcher sat on a nest. So they obviously have a nest across there, and that is why they were not very happy. So that is over by this sheep. She's sat about here, and then the sheep and the lamb are here. Anyone who doesn't know anything about oyster catchers, they are incredible parents. They both work together with the nest and the chicks, and I used to have trail cams on some nests, and one of them incubates when they're hatching, and as soon as the chick is hatched, kicks that chick out and it goes to the other parent. The other parent feeds it, looks after it. Oh, the lamb just went for the oyster catcher. It's like a soap opera. And as the chicks hatch, they kick them out of the nest to hatch the next one, and the chicks go to the other parent who feeds them and looks after them while the one on the nest hatches everything off. So they're very interesting, and they feed their chicks constantly. And the chicks become fussy, which is quite funny as well, because they'll bring them a grub and the chick is like, no, I don't really want that, and they'll just keep offering it to them as if it's like, I've just found you this grub, you're gonna eat it. They're some of my favourite birds to watch parent, because they're brilliant at it, and their chicks are so characterful, and they're also incredible. Like, their parents tell them there's danger, the chicks are a rock and they just sit there and don't move. So the footage over this is not from this year, it's from last year, because there's no oyster catcher chicks on the ground yet, I don't think, or not where I am. But yeah, they're incredible parents. So anyway, my idea is to just basically spend this evening, or most of this evening, in this field, film what I can see, and that will be this video. Currently filming that oyster catcher, which is not very happy with the sheep. So I so wish I'd got it pecking that lamb on the face, because the lamb got such a shock. Well, I just missed a sparrowhawk. It was sat on the wall. I drove past it, so my camera's obviously on my side. It was on the opposite side. I drove past it in like slow motion, and it just sat there and looked at me. I went and turned around, came back, still sat there, pulled up, flew off. There's like certain birds that I get annoyed when they fly off, because I'm like a snipe. I'm like, a snipe could sit there. It could be nice to me and just sit there. Whereas a sparrowhawk, I'm like, it's very little. There's very little chance that bird is going to sit for you. It's almost a miracle, because they're like top predators and just very sketchy. So I don't feel I feel privileged to have seen it, but I don't feel disappointed that I didn't photograph it. So yeah, but I've seen a few of them up and down this valley, and I mean the partridge especially must be a favourite of it, because there was pairs and now there's like singles in certain areas. So they're probably picking off the partridge, and apparently they're picking off the lapwing chicks as well. But I mean, I saw one eating an adult lapwing last week. What is that? I don't know what that was. I think it was just a blackbird, but it just looked weird. What was I even saying? All I'm thinking about is that sparrowhawk now. Oh, there's a lapwing with some chicks underneath her. I'm going to pull in here and I'm going to scope all these walls and see if I can see a snipe. Which I probably can't. But if I do, I've now had a very close encounter with a snipe that flew off, and a very close encounter with the sparrowhawk that flew off. So, third time lucky. I am due a nice bird picture. and there is nothing sat on that wall. So that's a bit boring. Guys, the snipe is there. It's always on the wrong side of the car, so I'm gonna have to go past it at speed because they tend to just ignore you if you're driving normally, and then I'm gonna have to turn around. This is like the nerve-wracking. Is it still there? Yes, it's still there. Oh, it just flew away. Why do I do this? Why do I come and photograph birds? It sits in the same spot every evening, and I'm trying to photograph it, and every night I'm failing. Well, I didn't have a bad night. I got some nice footage, some nice lapwings, some more grey partridge. I saw the snipe once, and then, to be fair, I sat and waited for a while, and then some people were walking their dog, so there's no chance that you're going to see a snipe when someone's walking their dog. But I'm now on the way home, and it is 8:15. It's the only problem, like, when it obviously gets later and later, like it's lighter and lighter, you end up just getting home later and later. And I went out at like 5, so been out for over 3 hours. So I think I could probably start coming out at 6, to be fair, and then my dogs can start having their supper at a normal time, because I've been feeding them early this week so that they are fed, because I can't go home and feed them at 8:15. That just makes me feel bad. So yeah, I am going home. I haven't seen any owls. They've been spotted on like odd occasions, but it's just not very consistent this year. I think there's only 2 in this valley, and it was seen here last time and it's not there. I've seen 1 further up. I've not seen that for probably a month, and then there was 1 further down which I've not seen for probably 3 weeks. So it could be the same owl, but it's more likely to be 2 different ones. It is beautiful golden light on the opposite hill, as you can see, as the sun is setting. But yeah, I also need to actually turn these videos into content, so I'm going to go home and try and do a YouTube video before I go to bed. Wish me luck. If this gets posted, then I obviously did it.